Good morning, grade 4s. I hope you are well. Today we are going to be doing life skills. So I want you to get your life skills textbook as well as your workbook ready for me. Now let's start off by going to page 64. Now this unit is about children's rights and responsibilities. Now rights is something that the law allows people to do. In this unit we are going to learn all of the different rights that you have as a child. Okay, so read with me. Children are protected in a special way in the South African Constitution. Now I'm going to read about these 4 kids' lives, and then we're going to discuss in the Zoom further if their rights are met or not. Okay. I have nowhere to live. Now, children have the right to family care or to other care if the child is removed from his or her family. Children need love and security. Now, a child might be removed from his mom or dad when the environment is not safe. Okay. It feels good to have a full tummy. They have the right to food, shelter, and health care. Now, health care is usually you have the right to go to a doctor when you are sick, okay, or to be taken care of. Then, I've been beaten at school. Now, children should not be hurt by what people say, nor should they be beaten or sexually abused. So, you are not allowed to be hurt in any way, even if someone says something hurtful or does something to hurt you. It is against your rights. Okay. Then the last one, and we need to go to school. Now, children should not be forced to do an adult's work and needs to go to school. You have the right to an education. Now, let's go to page 65. Let's quickly read the keywords. Nutrition is nourishment or food. Maltreatment is the mistreatment or cruelty or harm. Nationality is the country you were born in. Responsibility is something that you have a duty to do. Now you need to do activity 10.1. It is about the Bill of Rights. Now every child has the right to a name and a nationality from birth, to family care and parental care, or to appropriate alternative care when removed from the family environment, to basic nutrition, shelter, healthcare services, and social services, to be protected from maltreatment, neglect, abuse, or degradation, to be protected from exploitative labor practices, and to an education. So, now we're going to answer the questions. You're going to look at the Bill of Rights above and match the right with the picture on page 64. So we read, the first little boy said, I have nowhere to live. Now, what right does he have? We're going to look for the right. I think it would be to family care or parental care, or to appropriate alternative care when removed from the family environment. Okay, and as well as to basic nutrition, shelter, healthcare services, and social services, because he said he doesn't have anywhere to live. Okay, then you're going to look at all of the pictures and you're going to match the right that they have. Then number 2, what is your nationality? Now, nationality, remember, is the country you were born in. Okay. Then number 3, do you think that our constitution or the law of the land protects the rights of children? Do you feel like your rights are protected or not? And then give a reason why. Number 4, are any of these rights not being protected in your life? Can you change that? And how? So all of these rights that's in this Bill of Rights, I want you to think about them, and is there any of them that is not protected? And then you need to explain why. Number 5, can you have the right without responsibilities? Now, responsibilities are something that you have a duty to do. So you have the right to go to school, okay? But you have the responsibility to actually show up to school, to actually do your work and do well in school. Okay, so you still have to do something from your part, okay, to receive your rights. Number 6, what responsibility do you think children has? And then number 7, you're going to leave number 7 because it's a group work thing. So just do until number 6, okay. Now we're quickly going to read this story on page 66 and 67. Lebo learns that having rights means having responsibilities. Lebo enjoyed life very much. He lived with his mother and he had many friends. One day Lebo had a cold and went to the clinic. The doctor gave him some tablets and medicine for his cough. Lebo remembered the medicine from the last time he was there. It tasted horrible. When his mother wasn't looking, he threw it in the bin. That afternoon he was playing with a new friend. He was having such a nice time that he didn't feel like going home. When he got home at 8:30, his mother was very worried. She was nearly crying. "Where have you been?" she asked. "I have been so worried about you. I asked your grandfather to ask at the police station if there had been any accident somewhere. You are very irresponsible." On his way to school the next morning, he passed a tap that had not been closed properly. It was dripping fast and there was a big pool of water on the ground. "It's not my problem," he said and walked on. That afternoon, on his way from school, he saw that he still had the sandwich his mother made for him. He took it out of his bag and threw it on the pavement. Just then, he saw his grandfather. He straightened up. His grandfather could be a bit strict. His grandfather asked him to sit on the bench with him. His grandfather explained that he had been watching Lebo and he wanted to tell him something very important. He explained that long ago, South Africa did not have a constitution that looked after children's rights. He told Lebo that it was different today, but it seemed that Lebo was not being responsible with these rights. Lebo asked him what he meant. So the grandfather explained that Lebo had the right to a family care and food, but he was not being responsible with that right. He didn't tell his mother where he was going. He came back much later than he should have, and he threw away the lunch that she made. The grandfather explained that someone told him that Lebo had thrown away the clinic medicine. "You have a right to health care, Lebo, but your responsibility is to take the medicine. That medicine could have been given to someone else." The grandfather told Lebo that he saw him walk past the dripping tap. "Water to drink and food to eat are rights or privileges that you have, but you do not deserve them because you are not responsible with them. You left the tap running, and this is not only wasted water but means that others will not have water to drink," his grandfather explained. "Now I want to see a change in you, Lebo. I want to see you appreciate all these wonderful privileges that are for you and to be responsible with them. Will you do that?" Lebo was feeling very ashamed. He knew his grandfather was right. He was not responsible with the rights he had. "I understand now," he said. "I will value the rights I have and I will be responsible with them." Now, we will discuss this story in the Zoom session and your opinion about it. Okay. Now, the next activity is a fun activity. It's on page 84. Okay, now it's a little bit of art. Okay, so appreciate and creative art visuals. Looking at lettering. Now, proportion. We're quickly going to read the keywords. Proportion is the size of one thing compared to the size of something else. A pattern is a design or decoration that is repeated many times. Okay, so here is a picture of proportion. So, shape, proportion, and color. The large capital letters is bright. Solid colors are very noticeable, and the shadow makes the letters seem 3D and stand out. Okay, so I'm here. And then let's look at the next one, happy birthday. Line and space. These letters shaped with swirls in pastel colors are soft and decorative. And then here at the bottom, these letters form a pattern. Now on page 85 at the top, a pattern is a shape or a design that is repeated. Now we come to negative and positive spaces. Now, negative spaces are basically the space around a letter. And positive spaces is within the letter or in a picture. Okay, now you're going to do activity 13.1. You need to redraw all of these letters, A, B, C, D, E, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I think you can choose, maybe you can even do your name. Then you're going to, in number 1, you're going to first of all fill in the negative spaces. So, like I did over here. So, you color in your letter with one color, and then the negative space, which is around the letter, you're going to decorate with any way you want. Now, you can do it big in your book, so a whole page will be fine for it. Then in number 2, you're going to do the opposite. Now, you're going to fill in the positive spaces. So, you color in the negative spaces with a dark color, and then the positive space, which is inside the letter, you're going to decorate. Okay, and then we're going to share our work in our Zoom session. Now on page 86, activity 13.2, you are going to make an artwork. Now it is supposed to be a group thing, but unfortunately we can't do that. So you are going to do it like this. You're going to scribble, just scribble like you would in your book, right? So just scribble. Then you're going to try and look if you can see a picture within your scribble. So I can see a butterfly. So it can be anything. Nothing is incorrect. It's just for you to sort of see if you can find something within your scribble picture. Okay, so I see a butterfly. So I'm drawing a butterfly. And then I'm going to give it eyes and a mouth. Okay, so here I drew it as well. I scribbled everywhere and I saw 3 snails. Okay, so you can make anything, like they give the examples here on the page as well. So anything like that would be fine as well. Now let's go to page 76. Now this is about musical instruments. Now let's quickly read the keywords again. Pitch is how high or how low a note goes. So how high usually hurts your ears a bit more because it's really pitched, and then lower notes is really deep, like a man's voice. Okay, a man's voice. Okay, so musical instruments have been made from all sorts of materials throughout history to make different types of sounds. There are many different kinds of musical instruments. Now, the types of musical instruments. Instruments are put into groups depending on how their sound is made. Percussion instruments are hit or shaken to make a sound. Wind instruments are blown to make a sound, and string instruments have strings that are plucked to make a range of noises. So percussion instruments are, for example, drums or shakers. Then wind instruments will be like a trumpet. And then string instruments will be like a guitar. Okay, so some instruments produce a sound that are all the same pitch, for example, shakers or drums. Some instruments can produce sounds of different pitches. Sounds that are higher or lower, for example, a guitar, a piano, or a flute. You can play melodies on these kinds of instruments. Okay, now you are going to do activity 12.3. Now you have a table in your purple file that's already drawn up. Okay, so you are going to write the different names of instruments. So like drums, piano, a flute, a guitar, whatever you want. And then you're going to draw a picture of how this instrument looks. So you can use color to draw a picture of how it looks. Then you're going to describe this instrument. Describe the sound it makes. So does it make a loud sound, a high pitch or a low pitch? Do you blow it? Do you hit it or do you shake it? And then, and this last one, what pitch does the instrument have? So a high or low pitch. Does it play high, medium or low, or all 3 together? Okay, so that is activity 12.3. Now let's go to the activity on page 78. Now this is a fun activity. You are going to make your own musical instrument. Okay, so you're going to use recycled materials. Now recycled materials are turning items that you are going to throw away into something useful. So improvise and create your own musical instrument. So now here's a couple of examples using seeds and bottles. So you are going to use some materials from home, something that you might have thrown away, and you're going to create a musical instrument. Now I made this shaker. So it's 2 little cups, and I put buttons inside, and then I just put a little tape. And now it's a shaker. Okay, so I want you to do this. It's just a fun activity. Remember, nothing should be bought. It should just make some noise. A musical instrument that makes noise. Okay, that is that. And then let's just quickly read on page 80. I want you to look at the picture on page 80. This picture. Now, this is sound pictures. Now, a sound picture is a picture you create by making sound with body, percussions, instruments, and voices. Sound pictures can be part of a drama or dance performance in order to create a mood. Now, this picture over here is obviously just a picture, and pictures usually don't have sound. But everything that's going on in the picture can give you a sound in your head, because as you can see, it's raining in the picture, and you know how rain sounds. So in your mind, you can hear the rain fall. The wind is blowing really hard. Okay, this man is running, maybe shouting, and the wind is blowing, so it might make a a loud noise. Okay, so that is all you have to know. It's just so I would like you to try and create your own picture like that. Draw a picture where you can sort of imagine the sounds that you drew in the picture. So maybe you playing a musical instrument or anything like that. Okay, so that is all for life skills today. Remember, if you have any questions, you can WhatsApp me at any time, or you can leave your questions for our Zoom sessions. Good luck.